2026 does not begin on January 1st. It begins now. It begins with the standards that you're setting for yourself. Whether you realize it or not, you are already auditioning for the woman that you are meant to be in this next era of your life. I'm Bianca Burke. This is the Maven Matriarch. And we are here together today on the final episode of 2025, the final episode of this season. And we are here with a powerful conversation, right? It's about who you're becoming in 2026. It's not about goals and it's not about resolutions, but it's more so about identity. If you're here, I already know who you are. You are stepping into 2026 clear, not blindfolded. You have clear vision, clarity, intention. You have standards, and that deserves to be taken seriously. So 2026, it's not a continuation year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. It is a year of initiation, year 1. Let's reflect a little bit on 2025. 2025 was a year 9. We ended cycles. We ended chapters, right? And it asked a lot of us. Growth did not come easy. There was pressure, there was chaos, but through it, we were asked to rise. And we did so with grace, right? There were moments that we realized that we were still battling or holding on to versions of ourselves that we actually outgrew. But we made the decision, right, to choose to make decisions from the identity of the women that we are going to become. And that is so important for 2026 that we continue to do that, because we're not going into 2026 cleaning up things anymore, right? We did that. We are now here to elevate and to decide. This is the year that we are stepping into the field. Really, it is about making choices. It is a decision, right? It is a choice. Who are you choosing to step into? What identity are you choosing to step into in 2026? Okay? Because clarity and elevation start with the decisions that we make. I actually made my 2025 vision board back in March of this year. And that moment, I truly realized I was playing smaller than I actually knew my destiny was. And it's not because I lacked capacity, but it's because I was still operating from my old self. And so when I made that vision board, truly, I had no idea at that time that I was going to be starting my MBA program. I had no idea that I was going to be starting a podcast. I knew I wanted to, but I didn't know I was going to do it. I had no idea that I was going to start a real estate company. I had no idea, right? But I made the vision board. I had the vision and I put it up there, and every day I took the micro actions that led me to planting the seeds. And so when I made that, I wasn't confused, but I was cautious, right? And that caution, if I had led with that, it would have turned into self-betrayal. And so that moment truly made it clear for me that the next version of myself was not going to ask for readiness. I didn't want to be ready. I just needed to start. Okay. And 2026 truly is representative of that, because I initiated. Okay. So for 2026, I know that I will be taking on projects that feed me. I will only be taking on projects that grow my legacy and that align with my standards. Okay. I know that for sure. And every choice that I make will elevate me, not diminish me. Okay. And I get to choose that. And by choosing consciously, my environment, my relationships will respond to that standard and those choices. And I'll see that everything around me, especially energetically, will be lifted. Now I want to talk about the framework for the 2026 matriarch. And the first component of that I want to talk about is vision. Vision is so important. This is the foundation because if you don't know, if you're not clear on what you want, there's no road, right? So I say that now because I actually just completed my vision board with my sister. We did it together. My 2026 board, you can see it's like right behind you here. I'm waiting for the 31st to put it up. I have a little ritual I want to do, and we're going to put that up and replace my 2025 vision board with it. And so when I did it, we had a little bit of fun. You know, it was a really nice bonding moment with her and I doing that together. And truly, the purpose of a vision board, it's a tool to help you to visualize, right, and focus on the bigger picture of your dreams and your goals. Okay. The vision I'm talking about here is the big picture vision of your life, right? You can put small goals on there and things like that, but it's about seeing the life that you're building from above, from the lens of the observer, which is so important. And understanding that all of these elements of your world truly connect back to you, right? And knowing that your choices cause a ripple effect on all of these aspects, right? Your work, your life, your relationships, um, your family, your legacy, right? Your career. And when you look at the vision board each day, right? The images, the words, the phrases, they are embedded in your subconscious, right? And you'll be guided in the right direction to make the right decisions, intentional action, right? Guided action towards the steps that you need to your goals, to get to your goals. And so for me, a vision board truly works. I incorporate it into my morning routine. I think it works. I mean, I've never done it before 2025. And if I did, it was a long time ago and I did not use it correctly. So, but it definitely helped me. It's not for everyone. But I also have to say this too with that, and I know some people have it on their phone, which is fine. I just see the benefit of having it physically on your wall because it forces you pass by that thing almost every day. You wake up and you look at it, right? It's not every day that I go into Pinterest or I go into my board on my phone. So if you want to try, try it and see if it helps. Let me know. Let me know if it helped you. If you've done it before, if that helped you, I'd love to know. Um, so with all of this and vision, you want to ask yourself in 2026, right? The question isn't, what do I want? It's, what kind of life am I building? What systems actually support me? And what identity do I lead from? And as moms, we want to ask ourselves, what does motherhood, leadership, and legacy look like for us when we're not in survival mode? Okay. Thinking small will feel physically uncomfortable in year one. I want you to understand that because the year of one is about initiation. It means you are going to shift identities. Okay. The container that you're in now, your identity is not going to be able to be held in that container, right? You're going to be asked to stretch beyond what you're used to, which leads us into the next component, standards. We have to set standards not only for ourselves, but for others, right? One thing I want to talk about is our softness, right? As feminine, as women. Softness does not mean weak, and it's okay to be soft, right? This is the feminine energy. It's okay to be silent. Soft for me means selective. It's not about, you know, giving in or lacking strength. It's about choosing deliberately what and who deserves your energy and attention. Okay. And so when we set that standard in 2026, that's what it calls us to do. It's the year to stop explaining why we make the decisions that we're making and why we require what we require with grace and with respect. It's something I often struggled with, growing up. Um, I, I was softer. I was more soft spoken. I was reserved. I still am. And I very non-confrontational, right? And so I always thought that was a weakness, and I was told that it was in more words or less. And as I evolve, I realized that it's actually strength. It's my femininity. It's it's where I build my strength from. This reserve, this silence. And that is feminine energy. Another aspect of it is over explaining yourself. And I'm still guilty of it. And I still tend to fall into that trap of, over explaining. And it could be my own, small insecurities and things that I still need to heal from. But you don't need to go into this year explaining to anyone why you make the decisions that you make, right? Or why you want what you want, or why you feel the way you feel. Absolutely not. You don't owe anyone an explanation for anything, or for your standards, rather. Um, and we need to stop viewing standards as punishment. They are filters, they help to protect your energy. And what you tolerate truly trains people on how they're going to treat you. And that includes yourself. You need non negotiables for yourself. And in 2026, with all of that, you want to ask yourself, what ends here? What no longer gets access to me and my energy? And what behavior, including my own, am I no longer tolerating? What behavior is no longer negotiable? Because if it drains you and it delays you and it diminishes you, it does not belong in year one. It does not. Third component we want to talk about is strategy. Elegance is efficiency. Okay. It's efficiency with taste. And true elegance isn't just about style. Okay. It's about doing what matters with precision and with intention and with purpose, and making it look effortless all at the same time. Okay. So we need to go into 2026 understanding that matriarchs don't need to do everything. Okay. And this is something I need to learn. You decide what you do, and you decide what you delegate. Okay. In 2026, we are automating what repeats, right? We are delegating the things that distract us or that take up too much of our time, right? You are dropping things that no longer need your commitment, no longer compounds, right? That towards your goals. And you protect what actually requires your presence. In 2026, your energy is so sacred because you need all of it to accomplish the goals that you set forth for yourself. Okay, so automate your routines, delegate, eliminate what does not grow, okay, and guard only what you can handle. I used to think that busyness meant devotion, right? I was always busy, but I realized that clarity is what truly moves the needle. Clarity is true devotion, right? And through that, you show up focused, intentional, and doing actions that actually get you to where you want to be. So, year one energy is a grounding energy. We're not in the woo woo, even though I love the woo woo, but we're becoming grounded. We are truly putting the pedal to the metal, and energetically, because it is a year one, you you cannot hesitate, right? It's go. And so we are in the founder mode of this 9-year cycle. You want to define who you are first and foremost, because without that, you don't know who to step into. And then you want to also trust your choices. Trusting yourself and your intuition and your own knowledge and guidance is truly what's going to set you up for success. When you trust yourself over everybody else's opinion, that's boss level. And then after that, you take the decisive, intentional actions, right? Inspired actions, right? And leave behind that endless planning, because we can plan and it's okay to plan. But sometimes we often get trapped in this planning phase and we never actually start anything or do anything. So if you're still hesitating in year one, you're not exploring, you're staying stuck, that indecision will cause you to stunt. You will not grow, right? So let's activate. Let's activate you into a mini initiation this week, okay? And we have some time before 2026 actually hits. I want you to picture yourself, okay, at the end of 2026. And this is a nice little visual exercise, right? And you can do this, close your eyes. Notice how you move. Notice the decisions you make and how decisions come faster for you. Notice how you don't over explain yourself. When you say something, that's word. Notice how your family, your work, your nervous system organizes around that clarity. And then ask yourself, one decision I've been delaying is what? Ask yourself, one behavior I'm retiring. What is that? And ask yourself, one standard that I'm raising immediately. And when you do that, that's your initiation. Becoming the 2026 matriarch is truly kind of like rebranding your life, right? It's rebranding yourself as a modern mother. If you're ready to step into 2026 with clarity, confidence, and control, this is your invitation. I am hosting my second Maven Reset Workshop on Sunday, January 18th at 2 p.m. All of the details are in the description. I've been asked when the next one's coming, and it is here. Okay. I like to keep things intimate in this room. And so seats are very limited here. I've limited the seats since my first one, so that we can come together and make this new year the best year yet. This new year is not going to wait. It is here. Okay. And I want to bring it in with you and help you transform your 2026 into the one that you deserve. This was episode 21, right? And as I said, it marks the last episode of the year, the last episode of the season, my first season of the Maven Matriarch. I want to thank you for spending the year with me, matriarchs. It has been amazing. Your growth matters, your presence matters, and the era that you're initiating matters. That starts now. Until next time, I'll see you on the other side.